In the United States, natural gas is used for everything from heating homes to cooking food to creating electricity. Because natural gas is a clean burning fuel, as the country moves from dirtier sources of energy which pollute the air and harm the environment, U.S. natural gas consumption is increasing. Production is dwindling due to lack of natural gas resources in the country. The lack of supply and increase in demand is causing gas prices to be very high and highly volatile. Many places in the world have more gas than they can use. The task is to get the gas from its surplus to the United States. The way we do that is by condensing the gas into a liquid, which reduces the volume of 620 cubic feet of gas into 1 cubic foot of liquid. This process is done by refrigeration to cool the liquid just enough to condense it, forming liquefied natural gas or LNG. With this much smaller volume, we then can ship much larger amounts in ships. These ships are very large and compare in size to container ships. Upon arrival, the ships are unloaded at a specially built LNG terminal. Both the ships and the terminals are of an unusual design because of the low temperature of the LNG. We import LNG as an energy source because it burns to provide energy. Therefore, the flammability is a significant issue and the major factor in the design and operation of both the ships and the terminal. LNG has some unfamiliar characteristics. It is a colorless, odorless liquid which is non-toxic. It is very cold, minus 260 degrees Fahrenheit at its liquid state. Because it needs oxygen to react, LNG liquid will not burn or explode. Even in the flammable range, unconfined LNG vapor will not explode. Although the properties are unfamiliar, the LNG is actually safer than most other hydrocarbon fuels we use daily. The LNG is in a double-walled, vacuum-insulated glass container. Even though it is insulated, there is some evaporation. Although the vapors are invisible, they're cool enough to condense atmospheric moisture-producing fog. The fog you see here is no different than the fog you see rise from the Passamaquoddy Bay on cold days. Neither the low temperature from the vapor nor breathing the vapors is harmful. The low temperature of the LNG does change the properties of many materials. For LNG equipment, only materials suitable for low temperature are used. While the LNG does change the properties of materials due to the temperature of the liquid, the rose would return to its normal state, smooth to the touch and sweet smelling if left to warm. LNG evaporates completely once it warms up. However, if it does not completely evaporate, it's non-toxic. The rate of evaporation depends on available heat. After evaporation, there is no residue. In this demonstration, the Cheerios do not provide much heat and are chilled and very cold. The fog-like breath from the demonstrator is the same as your breath would be on a cold winter day. The water provides a much higher rate of heat transfer, and evaporation is more rapid, therefore only making the drinking water cool. Because there is no residue, the LNG, even if spilled, has no significant environmental impact. Again, because it is non-toxic, even the air directly above the water can be breathed normally by people and animals alike. The vapors from LNG will form a visible fog and will burn if mixed in the right proportion with air. If there is no visible fog, there's a high probability that the mixture is too lean to burn. Ignition does not occur in the areas of visible fog. If the LNG were exposed to air, it would quickly evaporate and natural gas vapors would rise because they're lighter than air. When lit, the vapors form a lazy flame, which burns cleanly and produces no sooty smoke, such as that from other hydrocarbon fuels. LNG is a clean burning fuel, which replaces other hydrocarbons that cause air pollution. Burning natural gas instead of other hydrocarbon fuels that are commonly used today will improve the environment while decreasing our dependence on the Middle East for their oil. LNG terminals come under the Department of Transportation regulation, which incorporates the Natural Fire Protection Association standard. Although modern terminals have had no significant releases of liquid or vapor, the safety regulations require buffering by exclusion zones to assure that the hazards are contained and will not extend to areas where the public may be at risk. In the history of LNG shipping, there has never been a release of LNG cargo in nearly 40,000 voyages. The Coast Guard has jurisdiction over the shipping for both safety and security. Activities that currently take place in the bay and terminal area are not anticipated to be significantly affected by these LNG ships in any way other than the Coast Guard requirements of other ships of similar size. The importation of LNG will have no significant negative environmental impacts. It will, however, provide very essential positive environmental benefits, making the use of the clean-burning natural gas instead of other dirtier hydrocarbon fuels commonly used today. The LNG import terminal will also provide very significant economic benefits to the area. As Maine and the rest of the country move toward environmental quality and a decreased dependence on Middle East oil, LNG is quickly moving from the energy source of the future to the energy source of today.